So, congratulations to Nintendo and the Pokemon franchise as it reaches the ripe old age of 20. Damn, I am getting old. Well, since it is officially the 20th anniversary of the Pokemon games, I thought I should spend some time telling my story of how I got into the game and how it impacted me as a whole, how it impacted my childhood as a whole. So sit back, relax, and listen to an old man reminisce. The story begins in the fall of 1998, where I have been playing games on the original Game Boy for quite some time now, with games such as Tetris, Super Mario Land, and so on and so forth. Video games were a big part of my childhood ever since my parents bought the original Nintendo Entertainment System for me when I was around 3 or 4 years old. I was a bit too young to know what Super Mario Brothers was, but my mom would egg me on to play it with her anyway. But I got into other games such as The Legend of Zelda, Metroid, and things like that. However, I got into Pokemon when I was in my first year of junior high school. A friend of mine who also introduced me to anime such as Dragon Ball Z came up to me and showed me the official player's guide to the original Pokemon Red and Blue games. He also told me to get up extra early as 5 o'clock in the morning, as the animated show was showing on UPN. It was cute in its own right, so like any little kid would do, I begged my mom into buying the game for me. My mom was apparently in that phase that I was apparently old enough that she would teach me about the value of saving money, so I had to scrounge up lunch money in order to buy the game. Once I had the money that I needed to buy the game, Pokemon has already reached a fever pitch in the United States, and it wasn't uncommon for a lot of stores to completely run out of stock. I finally did, though, and got my hands on Pokemon Red, which was the only version of the game available at Toys R Us that day. So I started the game and chose Charmander as my first partner, which was a really stupid for a greenhorn like me to find out the hard way that the first boss in the game specialized in rock Pokemon and fire is weak against rock. That kind of made me lament about wanting to restart the game and choose Squirtle or Bulbasaur instead. But I stuck it out, and when I finally beat Brock for the first time with only Charmander in my party, I was ecstatic. But the Pokemon I really wanted was Pikachu, since he was Ash's first Pokemon in the anime. I am really glad that I did that, though, since the next boss in the game was Misty, who specialized in water Pokemon. Should be easy, right? Well, you figure out that once Pikachu fainted, the game was pretty much over, since Charmander was rendered pretty much useless since he was also weak against water Pokemon. That didn't help much either, since Pikachu was around 10 levels behind Staryu, let alone once she breaks out Starmie. It was a fun game once I learned the game's mechanics, especially since this was one of the first RPGs I have ever played, which quickly became addicting when you find out how to capture, grow, and customize my own team of Pokemon. By the time I finished the game, news about the Missigno trick had broken out. What more could you ask for when you have unlimited Master Balls and rare candies as well as super powerful Pokemon? I met the requirements for meeting Missigno and came across this guy after surfing up and down the east coast of Cinnabar Island. I got the unlimited items and super powerful Pokemon that I wanted, but found out that it also ruins your Hall of Fame data. Not to mention, I was kind of afraid of catching him, since I heard rumors that doing so can irreparably ruin your game. This is true to an extent in a worst case scenario, as it has been documented by other gamers on YouTube, but the most common thing that it does is cause graphical glitching, causing you to have to reset the game. 20 years have passed since this phenomenon started. Pokemon Red and Blue was the only Pokemon game that I managed to catch all 150 different types of Pokemon and complete my Pokedex. In generations afterward, it would become increasingly harder to capture every one of them due to the amount of new Pokemon introduced, as well as the increasing complexities it takes to evolve some of them. But the Pokemon series is one of the very few series of games that I continue to play even to this day. A lot of features added to the game have come and gone. I may not collect the card game anymore and don't watch the anime nearly as much as I used to, but my appreciation for how the game has affected my childhood still lives on. I still miss those days when I was in junior high school playing with my original team of Pokemon and showing them off to my friends. And yes, I miss those days of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning before school to watch the show on UPN before it moved over to Kids WB. So congratulations to Nintendo and Game Freak and the Pokemon franchise for 20 great years, and here's to 20 more. This is the American Anime Otaku, signing out.